Did you hear the sound of Korean big drums? From ancient time, we Koreans believed that these drums would wake the skies and have been using them to commemorate the start of every large event. Now I'd like to start the opening ceremony of the 19th ICSMGE. Welcome to the opening ceremony of the 19th International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. My name is Moon Kyung Jung, Vice President of Korean Geotechnical Society. I'm privileged to welcome this distinguished guests and all delegates from 78 countries to the 19th ICSMGE Seoul. I'm quite certain that conference to be held for the next 5 days under the theme, Unearth the Future, Connect Beyond, which I hope bridge the past and future, young and old, and the developed and the developing nations. I sincerely hope that you find the conference most productive and rewarding. And let us begin with a big round of applause. First, I'd like to invite Professor Dong-Soo Kim, Chair of the Conference Organizing Committee for the 19th ICSMGE.
Professor Roger Frank, the Mr. President of the ICSMGE, Professor Sang Som-jung, Mr. President of the KGS, His Excellency Ban Ki-moon, the Honorable 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, distinguished delegates from all over the world, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Together with the 19th ICSMGE Organizing Committee, I honor this special moment of having the 19th ICSMG convened here in Seoul. This conference is a true celebration of world's best 1,800 geotechnical engineers, experts, academics, researchers, and future leaders from 80 countries, all gathered to embark on our journey into a new era of geotechnical engineering. We once lived in a very simpler time. Today, we can build higher buildings, better roads, and longer bridges than ever before. But no matter how the technology evolves, no buildings or roads standing in the air. Today, we face more frequently the natural disasters caused by the climate change. Our roles and responsibilities in response to the climate change are greater than ever. We are the ones who can make everything possible and should be reminded of our primary duties and responsibilities given to lead the adventure for a better future. In doing so, at the 19th ICSMG, we shall strive to recognize and respect the key issues in the relevant fields in the broader spectrum and envision the future we want to deliver. I'm most confident that such hope is well translated into the conference theme, Honors the Future, Connect Beyond, and the assorted in-depth and cross-sectional scientific programs will be carried out in the next 4 days to quench your thirst for knowledge. Treasured delegate and guest, the 19th ICSMG is ready to bridge the apparent gaps between the past and future, young and senior engineers, and the established and emerging economies. We offer the lowest registration fees, particularly for students, to share our ideas and expertise with more people. Our far-reaching fellowship program also enabled young engineers and future leaders from the disadvantaged nations to be inclusive in the International Geotechnical Engineering Society. The maximum number of oral presentations and TC workshops will enable more people to speak up. And I'm most certain that every one of you is a reader and pioneer to make today history, and very much looking forward to meaningful dialogues and discussions in lectures, sessions, workshops, and exhibitions. We have a very tight schedule ahead, but the organizing committee has also arranged very colorful social programs, and this time of the year is the best time to visit Seoul, as you will always be rewarded with a picture-perfect weather and the award of the abundant food ready to harvest. If you have some spare time, explore the Seoul your way. No matter what kind of traveler you are, the Seoul is a place of the boundless discoveries. I wish all of you every success in your effort, and hereby declare the opening of the 19th ICSMG. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kim, for your warm welcome. Next, we'll have a congratulatory address from the Honorable 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ban Ki-moon to the stage with a warm round of applause.
Professor Rogers Frank, President of International Society of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, ISSMG, Professor Chung Sang-sum, President of Korea Geotechnical Society, KGS, Professor Kim Dong-soo, Chair of the Organizing Committee of the 19th International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, distinguished delegates, guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Salam alaikum. Ni hao. Bonjour. Buenos dias. Dobre utro. 안녕하십니까? I just said as a former Secretary General of the United Nations, I used to say always 6 official languages when I greeted the delegations. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I'd like to extend my warmest welcome to all of you who made the long journey to Seoul to participate in the 19th International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. The International Society of Geotechnical Engineering holds 86 members and 18,000 individual members, and it has been very successful over the past 8 years in promoting international cooperation amongst engineers and scientists for geotechnical engineering. Unearth the future, connect beyond is a theme of this conference, and this theme was selected to promote technological breakthrough in geotechnical engineering. The most brilliant minds in the engineering world are gathered here this morning to connect and bridge the past, present, and future, the young and the old, and developing and developed countries. In this regard, I'd like to add to something which I have been always fostering to the people around the world about this unearth the future and connect beyond. This is exactly what I have been fostering as a Secretary General to the people and citizens of the world. I have been always urging, particularly young people, just forget about your national passports, forget about your boundaries. The national boundaries in 21st century do not have much meaning at this time. We are living in a small planet Earth, interconnected tightly in every sense, in every spectrum of our life. That's why I have always been urging particularly young people, just look beyond your national borders. Forget about your passports. This is only for the convenience of administration. Where you are coming from, Korea, Japan, Germany, France, it doesn't matter. We are one citizen of one small planet. And in that regard, I applaud your vision to have chosen this theme, unearth the future and connect beyond. And I congratulate on this. Therefore, today's is a very meaningful day for geotechnical engineers and scientists to open a new era for the future of geotechnical engineering. Although my knowledge in geotechnical engineering is very limited, don't expect to ask me any question after my speech. But I know that this is one of the foundations of our world, of our life, to make this world better and sustainable in every spectrum of our world. That's exactly what I did as a Secretary General of the United Nations. That's why I am here. Normally, when you don't know the subject, you don't dare to speak. But I decided to come and ask you do what you have to do as geotechnical engineering and scientists to make sure that the Sustainable Development Goals, which the United Nations has adopted by all the members of the world, have adopted in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, in many ways, in that regard, this conference is relevant to my work and expertise as former Secretary General of the United Nations, whose mission is to promote sustainable development, including climate change. You have been doing, and you are going to do, extremely important contribution by making sure that all foundations of infrastructure are solid and scientifically correct, so that we can build upon our sustainable world. In particular, two of the topics of this conference, prevention of natural hazards and environmental preservation and sustainable development, have been strong areas of interest for me. When we really try to make this world sustainable in every aspect of our world, we may not be able to prevent us from earthquake or hurricane, typhoons. It's what nature does in its own way. That is why I have always been saying that while we are not able to stop what nature is doing because they are going in its own way, we cannot negotiate with the nature. But at least we can minimize the casualties and damages and injuries caused by natural disasters. This is exactly what the world leaders gathered in Sendai in March 2015 in Japan to adopt a disaster risk reduction framework. This is very important to your work, and I hope you will look into this framework which was adopted in Sendai. That is the way we can minimize the risks caused by natural disasters. Distinguished delegates and ladies and gentlemen, nowadays we are witnessing countless natural and man-made disasters around the world. As you may recall, in 2010 January, an earthquake hit Haiti, a small island, causing 220,000 people died instantly, killed. We lost 102 United Nations staff over a night, instantly, and more than 300,000 people injured in just by one earthquake. I think that's most devastating things which I have ever seen. I was only second person who has rushed to the scene, only next to Hillary Clinton, US Secretary of State at that time. And I rushed to the scene and witnessed indescribable disasters myself. Virtually all the infrastructures were damaged and destroyed. In 2011, a massive landslide destroyed hundreds of homes in La Paz, Bolivia. This year also, there have been numerous such events. In June 2017, this year, another huge landslide wiped out a village in Sichuan, China. When there was another earthquake before that, I went to Sichuan myself, and I have also seen the magnitude of this earthquake and force of nature, which we cannot prevent. Just recently, a hurricane of unprecedented magnitude in Houston, Texas, and brought $1 trillion of damage to that area. And just last week, we saw the devastation and panic wreaked by Hurricane Irma. These hurricanes were caused by just simply 0.5 Celsius of global temperature rise. Sea level rose up, and the sea waters of Mexican Gulf has raised. And quite alarming that the size and scale of the storms. So we have to make sure that the global temperature rise should be contained below 2 degrees Celsius by the end of this century, by 2100. If possible, we have to do much more, 1.5 Celsius. This is what the many small island developing countries are just urging us to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now clear these extreme weather patterns and the intensity of natural disasters are not just a one-time occurrence in faraway countries. They are caused by the climate change. It is simply not enough for the affected countries to deal with and provide one-time remedies for the consequences of these disasters. As concerned citizens of the world, it is imperative that we work together to implement the Paris Climate Change Agreement so that the cities are safe, resilient, and sustainable. The sustainable cities is one of the very important goals, the 17 goals of the Sustainable Development. You, ladies and gentlemen, as geotechnical engineers of the world, can provide the crucial insights and necessary expertise to build stronger, resilient infrastructure for our society. Distinguished delegates and ladies and gentlemen, Winston Churchill once said, and I quote, "A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, but an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty." End of quote. I can imagine that as engineers and scientists, it is a second nature for you to search for solutions in every difficulty. I wish you all a very successful and productive outcome for the 19th ICSMGE, International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. Thank you very much for your commitment, and let's work together to make this world better through your expertise and contribution. 감사합니다. Thank you very much. Merci.
We all have been enlightened by your motivating message in climate change and natural and man-made disasters and the role of engineers for sustainable infrastructure. Thank you very much, sir. Unfortunately, Dr. Ban Ki-moon has to leave us now because he has another government event to attend this morning. Thank you. This time, I'd like to call upon Professor Sang Som-jung, the president of Korean Geotechnical Society, who has a warm welcome for us all. Please give a big round of applause as we invite him to the stage.
Mr. Roger Frank, the president of the ISMGE, and Mr. Dong-Suk Kim, the chair of this organizing committee, and distinguished guests, honored delegates, and fellow members. Welcome to the land of the morning calm. On behalf of the Korean Geotechnical Society, it's our great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to the 19th International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering 2017, Seoul, Korea. I still remember the very moment the Republic of Korea was selected for the 19th ICSMGE back in
2013. Here we are today, and I am so glad to see all of you here. As you know, the ISSMG has served as a major gateway to share the latest research outcomes and insight in the field of geotechnical engineering and soil mechanics. Tunnels are one of the major structures in geotechnical engineering, serving and connecting people. I see that the 19th ISSMGE is just like a tunnel. We came here to connect one point to the other and provide a shortcut for the advancement of mankind. We will surely be the connecting tunnels of the present and future, young and seniors, developed and developing nations. This can also relate to the main theme, on us the future, connect beyond. Today, over 1,800 participants from 80 countries came together to Seoul to deliver, discuss, debate, and exchange state-of-the-art ideas and technologies on various soil mechanics and geotechnical engineering issues. The main objective of the 19th ISSMG is to pursue mutual understanding and collaboration between experts and interested parties to create opportunities for sharing and learning up-to-date information. I hope this conference will contribute to all of you to provide a forum for exchange and the advancement of knowledge in the field of geotechnical engineering while establishing many friendships. Before I close, I'd like to take a moment to thank the members in organizing this prestigious event. There is a Korean saying that says, "More hands make the preparation easy, even when lifting a piece of paper." I'd like to express my warmest thanks to the former president of the Korean Geotechnical Society, Professor Jang Yeon-soo, and Professor Lee Sung-ho, and especially the chair of the organizing committee, Professor Dong-suk Kim. Their hard working and cooperation made this great event possible. Special thanks to the small and large, domestic and international companies sponsoring this event even under difficult time. On behalf of the ISSMG and the KGS, I express my sincere thanks. Distinguished guests and members, I hope you enjoy your time in Seoul, and I wish you a productive and rewarding time at the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your warm message, Professor Jung. Next, we have the president of ISSMG, who has made a tremendous contributions to our society with his great leadership. Let's put our hands together and warmly welcome Professor Roger Frank.
Dear Sang Seom-yong, President of the Korean Society of Geotechnical Engineering, dear Dong-suk Kim, Chair of the Organizing Committee of the International Conference of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, mesdames, messieurs, chers collègues, I would like to thank you first, as well as the former Secretary General of the United Nations, for your warm welcome to Korea. We already understand that we're going to attend an outstanding conference and enjoy a marvelous stay in Seoul. I would like to thank you, as well as all the organizers who worked very hard to make this conference a memorable success. To have the Secretary General with us a few minutes ago is a great honor and privilege. His presence makes us feel that we are the General Assembly of the United Nations for Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, and we are proud of this. Indeed, the geosciences, in particular geotechnical engineering, play an immense role for an harmonious and sustainable development of the planet. The ISSMG is the preeminent professional body representing the interests and activities of engineers, academics, and contractors all over the world that actively participate in ground engineering. We are today some 20,000 members, individual members, in 91 member societies. The main goals are the contribution to the development of knowledge, and one of our tools is our peaceful fight for open access. This is our policy. Development of knowledge, education, cooperation. All scientists and engineers know that knowledge, exchange of knowledge, education makes an immense contribution to the peace on the planet, or to restoring peace where, unfortunately, it needs to be so. Allow me to present in more detail the ISSMG and the main achievements during the period 2013 to 2017. The 91 member societies are split in the following manner: 10 member societies in Africa, 24 in Asia, 2 in Australasia, 38 in Europe, 3 in North America, and 14 in South America. During my mandate, we had the immense pleasure to welcome the member societies of Algeria, Société Algérienne de Géotechnique, and of Cyprus, the Cyprus Society for Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. During my mandate, the ISSMG was, governed by the board. In particular, we have 6 vice presidents for the various regions, in charge of the activities in their regions, in charge of organizing also the regional conferences. I remind you that midterm we had 5 regional conferences, that is in 2015. So, and they are with us today: Fatma Balik for Africa, Iko Tawata for Asia, Mark Jassa for Australasia, Anthony Jens for Europe, Paul Main for North America, Jabal Smilitiski for South America, and also 3 appointed members here with us: Mark Balouz from Lebanon, Etienne Marcelin Kanak, Cameroon, and Vlasta Savic Nosan, Croatia. They all helped me in an invaluable manner, together with the ad hoc members of this board, that is the immediate past president, Jean-Louis Briot, and the Secretary General, Neil Taylor. Thank you to all of them for their great help and for what we tried to achieve together. Well, perhaps this is not fascinating, but it is to remind me and remind you that the board is being held by a series of board-level committees who have worked also hard, and we are also very grateful to them. I will not say much about the Young Members Presidential Group, chaired by Jennifer Nix, nor about the Awards Committee, chaired by Charles Ng, because later today you will have sessions where there'll be an occasion to speak more about the activity of these board-level committees. So in the coming slides, what will be, say, behind the curtain is the work of the Corporate Associate Presidential Group, chaired by Sukumar Pasamandavel, of the Technical Oversight Committee, chaired by Pierre Delage, of the Public Image Committee, chaired by Sherif Wissa, and the Innovations and Development Committee, chaired by Dimitris Zerkos. We are also very grateful for all their contributions. Also are members of the SSMG, 31 corporate associates. This is perhaps not many. We need to have more. There are various explanations. Well, one perhaps is that many companies in the world are already members of their national society, say, and don't see really the need to be at the international level or to be visible on the international scene. Another reason, which is perhaps more tricky, is that companies perhaps don't understand, well, some companies don't understand what the ICSMG can do for them, perhaps feel that we are sometimes too academic or too theoretical with regard to their practical needs. This will motivate, by the way, the survey we made on the state of the art and state of practice in geotechnical engineering. In the following, then, I will present very quickly the technical committees, the activity for bridging the gap precisely between the state of the art and the state of practice. I will speak of some of the tools we have to communicate, like the webinars and a bulletin. Speak, of course, of the new website. Well, it's still the same address, but it's been completely, I would say, updated, upgraded. And this plays a very important role for our open access policy because of the online library which is there with all the past proceedings of international conferences on soil mechanics and geotechnical engineering. Some other new tools of communications, the Journal of Geoengineering Case Histories and the ISSMG Foundation. Don't be afraid, it will be more or less quick to pass through these items. The technical committees. The technical committees, they are really the producing force of the ISSMG. There are presently 33 technical committees. 7 deal with fundamentals aspects of soil mechanics and geotechnical engineering, 18 with the applications, and 8 with, I would say, the application with direct impact on the society. During my mandate, 3 new TCs were created, one on land reclamation, chaired by the Watabe, Japan, one on reinforced field structure, chaired by John Sankey from the USA, and as we say, last but certainly not least, the one on Ejeni Geotechnics, chaired by Marcelo Sanchez from the USA. When we look at the list of the technical committees, they show the wide involvement of geotechnical engineers, not only in the field of, say, new constructions of buildings, of bridges, of transportation infrastructures, but also I'm always very eager to say that we play a great role for the preservation of culture, or we should play a great role for the preservation of cultural heritage. And as mentioned by the former Secretary General of the United Nations, of course, with regard, our role is important with regard to national hazards. The prediction of national hazards, of course, we cannot prevent them, but the prediction of natural hazards and the protection against natural hazards, protecting the population. I usually call that PPP. It's sometimes used in economy for other things, but here, PPP for me means the prediction and protection of the population. And of course, other topics of interest, which I mentioned earlier, for instance, the link, the aspects linked to the production of energy and so forth. Well, some, I would say, sorry for that, but this is for you to bring back to your country, to bring back to your member societies. But I remind you that the technical committees are independent of the mandate of the president. That means on Thursday evening, when we'll have afternoon, we'll have a new president. This doesn't play at that moment any effect on the life of the technical committees. They go on. Of course, then the president has something to say about the future. He can create one, he can disband one, etc., but it doesn't have an impact on the life of a given technical committee. I remind also the member societies that they can nominate 2 the individual members, an unlimited number of corresponding members. Something nice with our new website is that this membership is directly managed by the chairs of the technical committees and by the member societies, thanks to a database of membership of the TCs, which was created rather recently. And the chair rotates every 8 years. We have stopped having some permanent chairs with this new, I would say, clause in our recommendations. Some, of course, these technical committees are in charge of their field of interest for which they've been created. They also develop honors lectures to honor an important expert in their field of interest. During the period, we have passed from 9 honor lectures to 14 honor lectures. Of course, you will have the list and all the details, by the way, of what I'm seeing today in my written paper, which is already published in the proceedings of this conference. And by the way, 11 honors lectures will be delivered during the plenary sessions of this conference, today or tomorrow. We'll have to think about that in the future, because if the honors lectures go on developing, it is clear that we shall not be able to have all the honors lectures being delivered during the international conferences, and perhaps some of them will have to go back, between brackets, to specialty conferences of the corresponding TC. The expected production of the technical committees, we expect them to work, of course, or they expect themselves to have some work to do. They should, of course, deliver state-of-the-art reports, say when speaking of academic or fundamental subjects, or recommendation and guidelines when they are more applied or more directly society-oriented. Also, and we could see here in Seoul, they are in charge of organizing all the parallel sessions at the International Conference of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. This started with the Paris conference, and this is also valid for this conference, and it's a good choice, I think, for the future. They organize all the discussion sessions and the workshops. That means, and the conference which will start, has started now here, is a kind of forum for the TCs to meet, and I think that it is a good thing. To come to the problem of bridging the gap between the state of the art and state of practice. This is, of course, a problem met in many professions. What is being found by research, more or less pure, by the academia, can be implemented or taken on board by, in the practical sphere. Of course, there's always a problem of knowledge of knowledge. The solution I need exists, but do I know that it exists? Anyhow, a survey has been launched, an important survey has been launched by the Corporate Associate Presidential Group, chaired by Sukumar Pasmandavel, and all the TCs coordinated by the Technical Oversight Committee, chaired by Pierre Delage. There was a first survey in 2014-2015 with a session in Edinburgh, and a deeper, survey with, I would say, a set of questions, a series of questions set by all the TCs, well, nearly all the TCs participated, was launched earlier this year, and the results will be, the wrap-up session will be, sorry, there's a mistake there, it's on Wednesday, sorry for that. There will be a wrap-up session to show you the results of this broad survey. To motivate you, you must know that 1,300 colleagues participated in this survey. It was free for everybody to answer, it was on our website, but 1,300 colleagues participated in 70 countries. I'm looking forward very much to this session on Wednesday. Sorry for the typing mistake. Very importantly is the series of webinars. There are some kind of, I would say, lectures delivered by experts in a given field. Since 2014, we started, say, a new procedure for these webinars in order to be able to keep them free of any charge. Whatever, we must be very grateful to the following experts who took their time to share the knowledge with the wider geotechnical community. Fernando Schneid, Kors Wattenburg, Peter Robertson, Misko Kublinowski, Richard Jardine, Anne Bing-Twang, George Gazetas, Samuel Ampadu, Lies Lalouis, Gabriel Ovinet, Yoshinori Iwasaki, Mark Cassidy, John Atkinson, Mark Balouz, Helmut Schweiger, Serge Leray, Bob Connor, and Pierre Delage. We are really grateful to them. We thank them. And of course, there is a back catalog of all these webinars. A back catalog of webinars remain on the ISSMG website, together with all the previous webinars during the previous mandate, say, and when the system was somewhat, the procedure, say, was somewhat different, but the end result, of course, are these brilliant lectures which are stored in our website. Sorry, no. Yeah. About the bulletin, another important tool of the ISSMG. During the period, we've had Iko Tawata, editor-in-chief, until 2014, I think, and then Charles Nge from 2014 to now. On the Iko's era, I would say, we managed to pass from 3 or 4 issues per year to 6 issues per year. And finally, 23 issues have been published since 2013. There are 60 pages on average in this bulletin. On the Charles Nge, new sections have been implemented. One on the major projects, one on research highlights, and one called the Young Members Arena for the younger ones to have an occasion to publish some of their work. Let's come now to the the new ISSMG website. We had to have another functionality, a better functionality of the website because of all the resources we wanted to store there. In particular, of course, I mentioned already the webinars, the bulletin, and other, I would say, objects, but also in order to implement our policy of open access, which I would say then needs the storage of a lot of scientific papers in the system. So more content and better presented. Also, the website serves as I said, the database for the TC memberships, but also serves also for the needs of the technical committees in allowing the possibility to have sub-websites for each TC. Open access policy. The open access policy, when I was facing you 4 years ago in Paris, when I started my mandate, and even in my program to get elected, I don't remember that I mentioned the problem of the open access. This has built up over the years, not that many years, but say over the months, that the first priority for me of a learned society like the ISSMG should be to ensure open access to knowledge to everybody on the planet. In our case, perhaps what is stored there, though it is completely of free access, the website, of course, interests more the scientists and engineers involved in geotechnical engineering. So we engage in a fight, which I call the peaceful fight, for free open access to all scientific literature in our field. ISSMG strives to make publications and proceedings available free to all to download from the website. So the online library now has approximately 10,000 papers. High quality papers because they come from different sources which are more or less, usually more under control. All the international conferences on soil mechanics and foundation engineering, which then were called International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering from 1936, it was the first one, are now available. Other conferences also, for instance, all the proceedings of the conference held by the TC204 on underground structures are available there. I think there are 6 conferences there. They're available there, and we are also pushing the other TCs to upload their proceedings, the proceedings of their international conferences on their subject. So TC204 is perhaps underground construction but the proceedings are visible by everybody. To speak about this database of past international conferences in our field, we already had online, you might remember, I'm sure you've been searching some papers there. We already online the proceedings of the Paris Conference of 2013, of the Alexandria Conference in 2009, and of the Osaka Conference in 2005, if I count correctly. Okay. So there were 15 events left which we needed to scan, upload. This is 62 books, 34,182 pages. This is more precise than geotechnical engineering. 34,182 pages, something like 105 kilograms. I'm speaking of a mass and not a weight. And this is 1.54 gigabytes in 5,357 searchable PDF files. This was possible thanks to the experience of the people who created the TC204 database I mentioned before, Adam Bezoyan and Thiago Dias at the Ghent University in Belgium. Anyone can access now our technical legacy from anywhere in the world. And the work for these 15 events was carried out by Dimitrios Zekos, the chair of our Innovation Development Committee, Kostis Tandilas, who's from the company geoengineer.org, which is playing the role of our website, the company, and Thiago Dias, quoted before, for unstinting contribution to the scanning project. So what happens now? If you want to find a paper speaking, for instance, of equilibrium, interesting. Yes. Yeah. Before you would go through you probably recognize the 15 sets of proceedings. You would go through them and try to find where's the equilibrium. Now, well, the younger ones know how this is easy in a laptop or a computer. For me, it's more new. You just type equilibrium, and you find, for instance, the first thing captivating, the validity of Coulomb's law of stability, mentioning also Cauchy's work. This is by Jackie in 1948. I think it's a Rotterdam conference. New communication tools. These are due to the Secretary General, to the IDC committee, PIC committee, WMPG, and to our webmasters, geoengineering.org. Regular newsletters are now circulated to member societies each month. And again, as I'm facing, in a way, the member societies, we ask you to forward them to all your members. We are not in touch directly with the individual members. We're in touch with the member societies, and the offices of the member societies must play their role in forwarding the information we send them. Enhance social media presence via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Again, some people know that better than I do. We have the network of the geotechnical engineers, GeoWorld, which was set up by the company geoengineering.org. And as announced yesterday, there is a new ISSMG mobile platform. So for your smartphone, whether Android system or which other system, I forgot. And I'm sure that at coffee break, you will be able to find the app, as we say, on your smartphone. From the GeoWorld Network publication, from the GeoWorld Network is created each year the publication of the Geotechnical Business Directory. Again, this is a product of geoengineering.org with the support of the ISSMG. The 2017 delivery will be delivered to you, or some copies around for you. The hard copies are available for you during this conference. The Journal of Geoengineering Case Histories, an open access journal of ISSMGE, focused on the practice of geotechnical engineering. It exists for some years now. Just to tell you that in 2016, we don't have the figures yet for 2017, 14 papers were published, and there were 35,302 paper downloads of this year, or papers of earlier years. The Journal of Geoengineering Case Histories is welcoming in particular the contributions from the TCs. The editors-in-chief, and we're grateful to them as well, until 2016 was Pedro Secoyo Pinto, and from 2017, Dimitrios Zekos and Joe-Louis Brio. A new website has been created in 2017 in order, for instance, to manage the database of possible papers. Last but not least, the foundation. The foundation, the ISSMG Foundation, is meant to help funding the younger ones or colleagues coming from poorer countries to attend events like this one, to attend international events. There are many donors, individuals, companies, learned societies, institutions, and you're welcome to, of course, extend the list with the donation of yourself, of your company, of your institution. I've come to the end now. I welcome you also to the 19th International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering. Enjoy a successful conference and enjoy your stay in Séoul. Je vous souhaite un congrès réussi. Passez du bon temps à Séoul. Merci de votre attention. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your kind explanation on our society's activities, Professor Jose Frank. We appreciate your excellent leadership and contribution as our president. Thank you. I'd like to proceed with the Kevin Nash Gold Medal Award ceremony, which is one of the highest honors recognized by our society. I'd like to call upon Professor Jean-Louis Brio, immediate past president of our society, to present the Kevin Nash Gold Medal Award.
First thing I want to do is invite the presidents of ISMG to come to the stage with me. So Mike Jamiolkowski, Kenji Ishihara, Pedro Pinto, Roger Frank, and our president-elect, Charles Ng. Please join me on the stage. And Kevin Nash Gold Medal, named after Kevin Nash, Secretary General of ISMG from 1965 to 1981. Here it is. 60 millimeters in diameter, 3 millimeters thick, made of gold. The decision is made by the past presidents, forming a committee chaired by the immediate past president, with input from the member societies. Past recipients, you can see the list there, a pretty amazing list of eminent geotechnical engineers, and it started in 1985, and we've only had 8, and we're now ready to honor the 2017 recipient. The requirement for this award is a person who, through distinction as an engineer, through international contribution to engineering practice and education, through contributions to international goodwill, and through service to the international society, has made a major contribution to fostering the ideals and goals of the International Society for Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering throughout the world. The recipient of this award today certainly matches very well all those qualifications. The winner of the 2017 Kevin Nash Gold Medal is Professor Antonio Jens. I would like to...
Mr. President of the International Society of Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, President of the Korean Geotechnical Society, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Committee of Past Presidents, chaired by Professor Brio, who decided to award me the Kevin Nash Medal. I cannot think of a most prestigious jury in geotechnics, and I'm really overwhelmed by the distinction they have granted me. I'm also humbled by the list of people that have preceded me on this award that you have seen. This list contains many of the people that I have always admired in our world of geotechnics. On these occasions, one is prompted to look back and thank many people that have played an important role fostering my career. They are too numerous to name, but I can recall my supervisor at the Imperial College, the many friends I did in the UK, indeed throughout the world. And of course, my friends and colleagues at UPC in Barcelona, who, starting from scratch, created a department that has provided a most productive and pleasant environment in which to do teaching, research, and consulting in geotechnical engineering. And also, thanks are due to the Spanish Society of Soil Mechanics that have supported me in so many ways. If I look back, I feel very lucky indeed. And this award is especially satisfying for me because my entire professional career has been devoted to geotechnical engineer. When I was finishing my degree and I was looking for an area in which to specialize, there were many fields that looked sort of cut and dried, full of rules and codes. Geotechnics was different. It was obvious that there was uncertainty, new and changing concepts, general rules that broke down unexpectedly, even some degree of confusion. In a word, it was big fun. And this fun and excitement has continued to this day. Here we are in the 19th International Conference on Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, the most important event of the International Society. I attended my first one in San Francisco in 1985, and since then I have missed none. It has always been a very special occasion to come to these conferences, to learn, to discuss, and to meet old and new friends. As you may know, I'm now finishing my term as Vice President for Europe. It has been a privilege and also a pleasure to serve the International Society in this way, alongside a bunch of very talented people. And of course, I remain at the SMG disposal if I can repay more of my debt with the International Society and with geotechnics in general. So, many thanks again, past presidents, for the award. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your patience. I'm truly delighted to receive this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My congratulations to Professor Antonio Jens. Lastly, we would like to show once again the performance of Korean big drums to celebrate our gathering, which we presented with a video entailing the theme of the 19th ICSMGE. Please enjoy the performance. I hope that performance was enjoyable to all of us gathered here. Through this performance, the theme of the conference will be carried on throughout these next few days. This concludes the opening ceremony of the 19th ICSMG Seoul. I once again convey my heartfelt appreciation for your kind presence today and ask for your kind attention to the sessions that will take place in the next 5 days.